Today is a very special day. We are landing the ship for season 2 of Learning to Read Biblical Hebrew, and as I've promised so many times, we are finishing off with prefixes and suffixes. But before we dig into these, let me just take a moment to say thank you very much to my faith community who'd been supporting me in words of encouragement, prayer, also financial assistance, to be able for me to say no to work so that I can spend time on these videos. Very often one of these videos take anything between 3, 4, 5, even 8 hours of setting up lights, recording, writing down, making slides, and putting everything together. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, and thank you that you're also helping a larger community of believers come to terms with Hebrew. Not only the small community that we're part of here in Stellenbosch. We're wrapping this with prefixes and suffixes. Now, prefixes are words or parts of words or letters that comes in the beginning of a word, and likewise suffixes are letters or combinations of letters at the end of words which modify the meaning or add to the meaning. It may sound overwhelming, but we're looking at 10 prefixes and 11 suffixes, so it's 21 things that you will need to memorize. But once you start using it, you'll realize it's really simple. I'm going to start off with the prefixes, but I'm not going to waste too much time on giving examples, because once we start reading, prefixes and suffixes will be part of our running commentary as we go along. So for now, listen, memorize. First prefix, the prefix ALEPH. Whenever you see a verb that you recognize and it gets an ALEPH in front, it literally turns the verb into first person I. Second prefix is a BEIT. A BEIT means in, at, or with. And think of the house, think of the tent, which the letter represents, in, at, with. Some people also associate it with on or by, but if you have the meanings in, at, or with, you are spot on. Third up is the prefix hey, which is the definite article in English, the. Next up, number 4, is the letter VAV, and that is the prefix to mean and. Think of the VAV as a peck, it binds two things, means and. Next up, yod. Yod again has to do with a verbal structure, and it changes a verb to mean he does something. Then the letter KAPH in the beginning of a word means as or like. K, as or like. Lamet means to or for or even concerning. David often in the Psalm speaks about a psalm mitzmor leDavid, a psalm concerning David. And this doesn't necessarily mean a psalm for David, but it concerns him. Lamet, to or for or concerning. Then the letter mem means from. I come from Israel. Israel. I come from Stellenbosch. Stellenbosch. Then the nun as a prefix means we, and that'll make sense later. That's not one of the well-known ones. And then finally, number 10, the prefix sh means who. Also not that known, but we will look at that. So we have ALEPH, BEIT, hey, VAV, yod, KAPH, lamet, mem, nun, and shin. 10 prefixes. And as I've mentioned, the well-known ones, be meaning in, at, or with, ha meaning the, v meaning and, yod meaning he as in the verb he, k is as or like, to, for is the lamet, mem, m means from, nun is we, and sh is who. And there are all sorts of rules in terms of the vowel points. For example, you can combine some of these prefixes. For example, to say in the, you would combine a BEIT and a hey. But those combinations we will look at. Suffixes, there are 11 of them, and you will find that most of the suffixes has to do with turning a word or modifying a word to mean of or belonging to something. In other words, a possessive pronoun function. The suffix hey often transforms a word to mean of her. But there's another thing. Hey at the end of a noun also just simply refers to a feminine version of a word. For now, whenever you see a suffix as a hey, it has to do with the feminine or meaning of her. Then when you have a vav as a suffix, it means of him. Very well-known suffix when you have a yod at the end. For example, you have the word sun with yod, bani. It means of me. Okay, a single yod at the end of a word. When there's a nu at the end of a word, NUN VAV, it means of us. Next up we have on, means of it. That's not that well known, but we'll point it out when we get to that. The suffix hem means of them, but specifically masculine or mixed plural. Then hen is specifically feminine plural, of them, but feminine only. Then a very handy one that you see all over the text is the plural masculine im, HEH MEM-SOFIT. For now, just memorize it. When you see an IM, you immediately know it has to do with a masculine plural. Then ot, vav, taf is the feminine plural. There are exceptions on both the im and the ot, but for now the rule is plural masculine for im, plural feminine for ot. Probably the two most famous suffixes that you will come across. And then two more. KAPH MEM-SOFIT means of you plural, and by plural we mean male or mixed plural. And then of you singular is the final one, KAPH. Let's run through them again. Suffixes. Hey means of her, vav is of him, yod of me, nu is of us, on is of it, hem is of them, masculine or mixed plural, hen is of them, female only, and then im, I am, male plural or plural masculine, ot, plural feminine, and finally we have of you, plural, chem, and chav only, of you, singular. Guys, there's a lot. Memorize this, familiarize yourself with this, and this wraps season 2. I'm super excited. From this point onwards, we will dig into Genesis 1 verse 1, and how that will work I will explain in the new season. But basically we will look at sentence structure, and we will start reading and start pronouncing the text, and then begin to dissect the verses word for word. Try to find the root word, try to spot the prefixes, the suffixes, look at what the possible meanings could be of the root words, and so we will start reading and interpreting the text. I'm super excited. My name is Helmut Meyer. If you've liked this, please share this with other people. Please consider liking and subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. And the next time we see each other will be in season 3, when we will start with Genesis 1 verse 1. Be blessed, and thank you again for your support. Goodbye.